Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fabulous. Thank you very much. Well, good afternoon. My name's Deb Morgan. For those of you that don't know me, I work for the Department for Work and Pensions, and I'm one of two disability employment advisor leads within South East Wales. So this webinar is designed to give... Is there background noise? Sorry.
Sorry, Deb, for all those who are coming in, if you could just make sure that you are muting yourself, just so we can run the webinar as smoothly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. So this webinar is designed to give you an overview of Disability Confident, dispel any myths, and hopefully encourage you, if you've not already done so, to register and give your commitment to offering an employment opportunity to a person with a disability and/or health condition within your organisation. Throughout the session, I will cover policy aims, background to Disability Confident, including some hard facts and figures, the 3 levels of Disability Confident, and what we as a collective can do moving forward. So are we okay to get started? Yeah. Okay, so next slide, please. So the aims. The policy aims for Disability Confident are to engage and encourage employers to become more confident, so they employ and retain disabled people, increase understanding of disability and the benefits of employing or retaining disabled people, increase the number of employers taking action to be disability confident, and make a substantial contribution towards halving the disability employment gap. So some of the drivers are that there are nearly 7.7 million people, 19% of working age in the UK, that are disabled or have a health condition. There has historically been a large gap between the numbers of disabled people employed compared with non-disabled people. The government is committed to halving the disability employment gap, and employers have a crucial role to play in this. Apart from self-employment, disabled people can only be in employment if employers are willing to employ them. So sort of some facts that are based on a report that was done during the period April to June 2020. Nearly 1.4 million disabled people in employment. There are nearly 4.1 million disabled people in employment, and that has gone up by 97,000 on the previous year, so on 2019 for the same period. The disabled employment rate was 53.6, up from 52.6 in 2019. And the employment rate for people who are not disabled was 81.7%. So you can see there's quite a disparity there. Between April and June 2020, 288,000 disabled people were unemployed, with the unemployment rate for disabled people being 6.5% compared to 3.5% for people who were not disabled. Disabled people were considerably more likely than those who are not disabled to be economically inactive. The economic inactivity rate for disabled people was 42.6% compared to those who are not disabled being 15.3%. The high rate of economic inactivity alongside a higher unemployment rate explains why disabled people have a low employment rate. We all have a vital role to play in supporting people with disability or longer term health conditions into or back into work. So next screen, please. Okay, so just a bit of background to the Disability Confident scheme. So Disability Confident is about creating a movement for change, getting employers to think differently about disability and to take action to attract, recruit and retain disabled workers and those with long-term health conditions, ensuring that they have the opportunities to fulfil their potential. The case for action that supports this: almost 1 in 6 people of working age of a diagnosable mental health condition. 100 people begin to lose their sight every day. Hearing loss is a major public health issue and affects 10 million people. Less than 10% of their disability whilst in work. Over half of workplaces are missing out because they exclude disabled talent. And employers who have made reasonable adjustments in the workplace said it was easy to do so and not as costly as they first imagined. So if we can move to the next screen, please. So obviously, why be disability confident? You know, we've mentioned about the employment gap between disabled and non-disabled people. And funny enough, just prior to this call, I was on a call with our national colleagues within DWP about the sort of reinvigoration of the Disability Employment Advisor role within DWP. And one of our key measures moving forward for 21-22 is to continue to work with employers, with organisations like Legacy, to ensure we reduce this employment gap. Okay, you know, and realistically for business, succeeding in business is their top priority. So finding the best people is essential. Employers have a crucial role to play in halving the disability employment gap. And disabled people can only be in employment if employers are willing to employ them. You know, we can't do this. And I know Sarah is, and the team are a very big advocate of this, that, you know, we can't do this on our own. It has to be with the support of our employers. So next screen, please. Fabulous, thank you. So the new Disability Confident, well, it's not new now because it's been in place since 2016. But the scheme was Disability Confident was developed through a ministerial task force of employers, disabled organisations and disabled people's led organisations. Their recommendation was for a 3-level scheme taking employers on a disability confident journey. The Disability Confident journey is designed to be achievable for all employers, be they small, medium or large. Being disability confident as an employer could help you discover someone your business just can't do without. It can benefit your business by enabling you to draw from the widest possible pool of talent, enabling you to secure high quality staff who are skilled, loyal and hardworking, saves time and money on the costs of recruitment and training by reducing staff turnover, helps you keep valuable skills and experience, reduces the levels and costs of sick absence, improves employee morale and commitment by demonstrating that you treat all employees fairly. And by building a reputation as a disability confident employer that actively seeks out and hires skilled disabled people, you will be helping to positively change attitudes, behaviours and cultures, not just in your immediate business, but in your networks, your supply chains, and the communities around you. So next screen, please. Okay, so as I mentioned, there are 3 levels to disability confident. So level 1 is committed, level 2 is employer, and level 3 is leader. So the next few slides, I'm going to take you through the varying levels. Okay, so at committed, when starting and throughout your disability confident journey, all we ask is for 5 actions and commitment to 1 activity that will make a difference. And the activity that we ask, there's 10 in total, but as an employer, providing work experience for a disabled person, providing work trials, providing paid employment, permanent or fixed term. Obviously, that's the ideal. Providing apprenticeships, providing a traineeship, providing paid internships and supported internships, or both. Advertising vacancies and other opportunities through organisations and media aimed particularly at disabled people. Engaging with Job Centre Plus providers, local disabled people's user-led organisations, employers that are already at the leader status. So you're able to access support through your opportunities. We also ask that you provide an environment that is inclusive and accessible for staff, for your clients and also your customers. Offering other innovative and effective approaches to encourage disabled people to apply for opportunities, and supporting them when they do. When you sign up to Disability Confident Committed, you will receive a badge and certificate, and then you can see the certificate there. And you will be registered for up to, as a committed employer for up to 3 years. So next slide, please. So when you sign up to Disability Confident, you are ensuring your recruitment process is inclusive and accessible. And you do this by ensuring against discrimination, make job adverts accessible, provide information in accessible formats, so in large print, for example, and you accept applications in alternative formats as well. So that could be electronically, it could be, you know, if you were at the interview stage, a verbal interview, and perhaps with the individual being supported by someone, not answering the questions, but having somebody there to support. As a disability confident employer, you will communicate and promote vacancies. So you'll advertise vacancies through a range of channels, get advice and support from Job Centre Plus, work programme providers, recruiters, and again, your local disabled people's user-led organisations. And you will review current recruitment process to ensure that you are recruiting from that diverse pool of employees. You offer an interview to a disabled person, and it's about encouraging applications from disabled people by offering them an interview if they meet the minimum criteria for the job. And this is the description of the job as set out by the employer. As an employer, you will anticipate and provide reasonable adjustments as required. So you make sure disabled workers aren't seriously disadvantaged when applying for and doing their jobs. And you support any existing employee who acquires a disability or long-term health condition by enabling them to stay in work. And if you recall at the start, when I went through the facts and figures, there's a huge percentage of people who develop their health condition or disability whilst in employment. And it is about retaining an employee who's become disabled. And by doing that, it means that you're keeping their valuable skills and experience. And this then in turn saves on the cost of recruiting a replacement. So next slide, please. So this is just some resources that can support you if you're an employer and you're considering registering to become a disability confident employer. On gov.uk, there's a range of products to support you, including information and guidance, feedback and experiences from other employers who have gone through the disability confident journey. There's videos, promotional materials, case studies. So gov.uk, I would recommend, please. Sorry, can we move to the next slide? Thank you. I do apologise to everyone on the call, but I couldn't show my screen. So Gareth, bless him, has had to step in to support, because DWP systems don't always link up with Zoom. So apologies there. But thank you to Gareth. So
So I know if I look for something from Paul Benson, Tom Dyer, or
sorry. Okay, so when your organisation is ready, and hopefully within the 3-year committed registration period, you can then move on to the employer status. Now, this is a self-assessment process covering 2 main themes. So theme 1 is about getting the right people for your business, and theme 2 is keeping and developing your people. And it's the core actions that you undertake here. Again, there's you can see what the certificate looks like. So obviously you would move on and receive that. Your organisation would receive that. And like I say, it is a self-assessment, but you will need to produce evidence in line with the 2 key themes. So next slide, please. Okay, so theme 1, as I mentioned, getting the right people for your business. With this, you need to be actively looking to attract and recruit disabled people. You provide a fully inclusive and accessible recruitment process. Offer an interview to disabled people who meet the minimum criteria for the job. You're flexible when assessing people, so disabled job applicants have the best opportunity to demonstrate that they can do the job. Make reasonable adjustments as required. Encourage other suppliers and partner firms to be disability confident. And ensure employees have sufficient disability equality awareness within your organisation. So you will be doing your self-assessment at employer level, level 2, against these key themes. Then you've got theme 2, which is about keeping and developing your people, and the core actions here. And that's about promoting a culture of being disability confident, supporting employees to manage their disabilities or health conditions, ensure there are no barriers to the development and progression of disabled staff, ensure managers are aware of how they can support staff who are sick or absent from work. It's about valuing and listening to feedback from disabled staff. And it's about reviewing the disability confident employer self-assessment. If you have achieved that and you're able to demonstrate that through the self-assessment, you'll be issued with your Year 2 badge and also your certificate. So next slide, please. So disability confident as an employer, getting the right people for your business. So as an employer, you will need to commit to at least one activity from the list to become a disability confident employer. So this is the same that we covered on level 1, but you are still, when you sign up to level 2, you are still offering at least one of these activities. You know, it might be that through your organisation, you've offered work experience, but now you can offer you know, paid employment, but you still have to give that commitment. Thank you. Next slide, please. And again, you know, you still have to be able to promote a culture of being disability confident, support employees to manage their disabilities or health conditions, ensure there are no barriers to development and progression of disabled staff, ensure managers are aware of how they can support staff who are sick or absent from work. And it's about valuing and listening to feedback from disabled staff, and also reviewing your disability confidence self-assessment regularly. So you don't just do it one-off, it's something you need to continually work on. And if I can just sort of make a point about ensuring managers within the organisation are aware of how they can support staff. I have had a few conversations with some employers where the employer has signed up to Disability Confident, but they're now aware that some of their managers are not really as clued up on the reasonable adjustments, etc., as they should be. So we've been supporting them, and I'm sure Legacy, because I know the amount of work that Legacy do as well, and I'm sure that they, you know, as an organisation has been supporting employers to make sure all staff are aware. So, you know, again, as well as offering opportunities to disabled people, as a level 2 employer, you will need to commit to activities and demonstrate your commitment to keeping and developing your people. You know, so once they're in employment, it's about providing mentoring, coaching, buddying, and any other support networks. Include disability awareness, equality training in induction processes, guide staff to information and advice on mental health conditions, provide OC health services where required, identify and share good practices, provide human resource managers with specific disability confident training. And again, it's just reiterating at level 2, you still need to do the self-assessment. So at level 2, as an employer, have you undertaken and completed the self-assessment? Are you taking all core actions to be a disability confident employer? And are you offering at least one activity to get the right person in your business, and one activity to then keep and develop them? So next screen, please. Okay, so level 3, this is the leader status. We haven't got a huge amount of employers at leader status, which is sad really, because there's a lot of good work going on out there with employers around the disability agenda, but we seem to have a lot of employers who sign up to level 1, but then don't seem to be moving through to employer and to leader. And I sometimes ask myself there, are we challenging employers when they when they initially sign to Disability Confident and they are committed, are we challenging them and asking them what they've committed to and asking them to deliver on what they've said? Within South East Wales, we are doing a lot of work at the moment with our employers that are particularly around the committed stage to, you know, okay, given the current pandemic, you know, but we are still saying to employers, well, you signed up to this, you've offered voluntary work experience, for example, for a disabled person, but you haven't moved this forward. So we are now starting to challenge, as I know Sarah and the team are, we're starting to ask the questions of employers. So when moving to the leader status, you know, taking into account everything we've done at Committed and to take and satisfy in order to reach being a disability confident leader. And these are challenge and leadership. Using a validation checklist, the following people, groups or organisations can help validate your application to become a disability confident leader. So there is a validation checklist, and this is not a self-assessment because you will then be checked against the validation checklist by either recognised accreditation organisations. You know, it could be somebody who is an existing disability confident leader. It could be disabled employees, perhaps in a micro or small employer, you know, with small employers. It could be community involvement. It could be the disabled people user-led organisations, local disability organisations, you know, so there is a network there, and those organisations will be the ones that will be doing that assessment at leader status to ensure that you are delivering what you've said you are delivering. Okay, so if we can move to the next slide, please. So, as a disability confident leader, you are acting as a champion and best in class and leading the way. It's about encouraging and supporting other businesses, your supply chains and networks to become disability confident. As I mentioned, the employers are required to undertake 2 additional steps, and that's challenge. So the employer will have a self-assessment validated by a validator, the list I mentioned previously, and the validator will agree with the evidence and assessment and that the employer is delivering against all of the core actions. And then it's around leadership. And this is about the activities that the employer is taking in support of being a disability confident leader. And again, the template will then be completed by the validator. So next slide, please. So as I mentioned, there's a raft of information on gov.uk where you can find lists of disability confident employers and their disability confident status. There's information to support your disability confident journey. You know, within DWP, your local employer and partnership teams can also support and answer any questions you may have on disability confident. And staff within the employer and partnership teams could include disability employer advisors, disability employer advisor leads, employer advisors. But you can also contact your employers that are already out there, champion disability confident. They can give you a raft of advice and share their experiences of the journey. So next screen, please. Okay, so as employers, what you can do, discover the Disability Confident journey. And if you've not already done so, register to be part of the growing network. If you are registered and you're committed, start looking at your offer and think about how you can move to the next stage, which is the employment stage, employer stage level 2. Commit to giving at least one opportunity to a disabled person to enable them to fulfill their potential. Pledge to deliver positive action and make a substantial contribution to halving the disability employment gap. And positively advocate and spread the disability confident word amongst your peers, other businesses, and your supply chains. So next slide. So that's it for me. So thank you for listening, everyone. Do you have any questions that I may be able to answer?
Hiya, Deb. It's Nathan here. Just
Hello.
before we go into the Q&A session, I'm just going to put a poll up on everyone's screen. So while you are thinking about the questions and obviously wanting to ask Deb the questions, if you can just select, so it's on a scale to 1 to 10, how was your understanding improved of disability confidence following this webinar? So I've launched that now. I'd be very grateful if you could answer it. Thanks, Deb. It's back over to you for the Q&A.
Thank you. Yes, so any questions, anybody? No? You're all very quiet.
I have a question.
Hello.
Hi, Debbie. I'm intrigued why there's quite a few companies in Wales who are committed, but their attitude, if you like, to go to the next level, or even trying to achieve leadership level, is of no. There's no incentive there for them to do it, and you get a lot of people who are very. It's as if being committed, disability confident, committed is like a tick box exercise, and they're sort of showing they're committed, but they're absolutely, really, they're not.
And you know, I am passionate about this, you know, because I think initially when the government, and this is my personal opinion, you know, but I think when Disability Confident was first launched nationally, there was a sort of, I can't say a target as such, but the government ideally wanted by March 2021, 20,000 employers signed up to this Disability Confident. And I get that, which is great, but I think perhaps in some areas it was sold in the wrong way. So it was about signing you up to Disability Confident, but then not being challenged on, well, you've signed up to this, right? We need you to be offering what you know, to delivering what you've said you will deliver. And I don't think there's been enough challenge until probably in the last year, because in the last year, sort of within Disability Confident, the priority has changed. As much as they still wanted 20,000 employers signed up to Disability Confident, what they've actually said is they want all those employers now translating their opportunities to supporting disabled people into employment, or, you know, giving them the skills so that they could move on to other employment. So be that through work experience, work trials, you know. So that's the next challenge. But I think we have been a bit slow on challenging employers when they've actually signed up. They signed up thinking it was a little bit of a kudos, you know, I can display disability confidence. And like I say, that's my personal opinion, but because there are no facts on that, but I just think that was it was the sell at the start, and then not being challenged to move that forward, you know, and say, put your, you know, give us the opportunities that you've said you have. And and then of course with COVID, I think people took a back step because people, you know, some employers were in quite in difficult times. But I think we need to get back there. And if an employer is signed up, we need to start challenging and get them to support, because we do still have, as I mentioned at the start, about the gap, you know, and economic inactivity. And, you know, just as a social agenda as well, we really need to start challenging these employers. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Total sense. I mean, this is especially in Wales. I'm finding that there are an awful lot of employers really totally disregard that information and don't action it. And I think that's quite disturbing, and also quite disturbing. I don't know how many companies are in Wales, but we only have 18 companies who are disability confident leaders.
I know,
18.
and that is, you know, if you look at the comparator between those that are level 1 committed and those that are, well, even employer status and leader status, it's quite alarming, really. And that is replicated nationally, which,
Right.
you know, there is now a call for us to do more. And to be fair, you know, obviously from my sort of remit within DWP, we are seeing more people with health conditions, you know, people, the aging population who might have health conditions, but that doesn't mean that they can't work or be supported in an employment situation. You know, and it's alarming because I think there's a national statistic that something like 1 in 6 employees have a health condition or disability, and they haven't disclosed it to their employer. And it's interesting to know why they haven't disclosed it. Is it that they're worried that the employer will say you're no longer suitable to do the job, but yet they're probably doing that job very well? You know, it's worrying what that I haven't looked into it in any greater depth than perhaps yourself. And you know, Sarah will know a little bit more about that. You know, that's something that I want to sort of get under, but that's quite alarming for me as well, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other statistic, I'm not quite sure that this figure is right, but I think it's around about 70% mark of where people acquire the disability and long-term health condition while they're in work.
Yeah.
They haven't gone into work with it.
No.
They've acquired while they're actually working.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's an onus on the employer to assist those people, and they don't.
No. And
thanks very much.
No worries. And do you know, the other side of that is there are also some employers out there who are really good at supporting their employees with health conditions, disabilities, and have actually recruited people with health conditions or disabilities, and they're not disability confident.
Yeah.
And yet they're doing all that. They're putting all that support in place. Why would you not?
Yeah,
you know?
quite.
Hiya, Deb. Sorry to interrupt. I know that we're running a little bit on time, but I believe Kim Alga has a question for you as well.
Oh, thank you. I think you're on mute, Kim.
Sorry, Kim, I think you need to unmute yourself.
Hi.
There we go.
Hello.
Hi, Kim.
Hello. Hi. I was unfortunate enough to have lost my job who was disability confident level 2.
Hmm.
And I can't say too much about it because obviously I'm taking it further.
Mm.
But what do you do if you want to put in some kind of flag to the disability confident body? Where do you go to flag up, actually, this is what happened, this is a level 2 disability confident deliverer? What do you do? Where do you go?
Do you know what, Kim? I'm not 100%, but I can take that away and then perhaps give the information to Nathan to share with you. My immediate response would be onto the gov.uk websites and speak to the disability confident team.
Okay.
Through that link. That would be my initial response, but I can find out because they would come back to you, because there is a national team that manage all disability confidence. So my first thoughts would be an email to that team, which you can find through the on gov.uk under disability confidence.
Okay, thank you very much. That's answered my question.
Thank you. Oh,
there we go. I believe we have about 5 minutes left. Does anybody else have any questions for Deb? No?
no.
I'd like to take this time then to thank Deb for coming on board. It's been a really, really informative and informational session. So thank you very much for that, Deb.
Well, thank you, and thank you all. You made my job very easy, considering I've not done a presentation on Zoom previously. So thank you, and thank you for being so patient with me. Thank you.
Not a problem at all. It's been an absolute pleasure. Just to let everybody know as well on the call, the next webinar will be starting at 1 o'clock. It's the same link that you're using now. And that's going to be a recruitment process for disabled candidates and support, and that will be run by EE. So hopefully see you all there at 1 o'clock. But again, thank you very much, Deb. And
thank you, and thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.